Hi, this is Kirk, the bariatric carnivore. Well, here's an interesting question. It's going to sound like blasphemy to most people, but why are you spending an hour and a half, 2 hours every year going to your doctor for your annual physical? What are you getting out of it? Are you getting anything out of it? Is it worth your time, your money, and effort? And frankly, I'm going to argue nowadays that it's probably the answer is no. You're not getting anything out of it. Well, what do you mean? Well, when you go to the doctor, do they check your waist circumference? I mean, that is one of the markers to see if you're metabolically unhealthy. If your waist circumference is over 42 inches for a male, you're metabolically unhealthy. That's one of the 5 markers of metabolic syndrome. How many times have they checked your waist circumference? Which, frankly, any of us should do. You should grab a tape measure and check that while you got a chance. Because if your waist is too big, you got a lot of visceral fat, and that is really a serious indicator of bad heart health, and it's very, very dangerous. Well, they check my pulse and my blood oxygenation level, and you can do that yourself for $5 using this little jewel, which is the same thing they're going to use at the doctor's office, and they're only $5 off of Amazon. Well, what else are they going to check? They're going to check your weight? What? You don't have a scale at home? Come on. I mean, it's not a medically grade scale, but you can check it. It's give you a good indication. It's one of the things that you want to check on a regular basis. Make sure that your weight is not going up or down dramatically. It's not that expensive. It's something that virtually every house has. So why not just utilize it? Well, they're going to check your blood pressure. Oh, really? They're going to do it correctly? I mean, I was in the heart hospital, and when they checked mine, what did they do? They were asking me a bunch of questions. I wasn't relaxed. My arm wasn't supported. My feet were dangling. They didn't have a supported chair. Everything was, they were doing it wrong. Plus, they were doing it over clothing, which all these things added up to an extra 37 points on my blood pressure. I did a video on that, on how to do your blood pressure correctly. So what's the best way to do it? Frankly, it's at home. Get one of these little things. I mean, for practically nothing, you can get your own blood pressure monitor, and it will send the results to your phone. So it's really easy to keep track of all this information. And when you go see your doctor, instead of them taking the blood pressure improperly at their office, you can show them your results from home, and it may keep you from going on a hypertensive medication that you really don't need. So, check that stuff at home. So, okay, if you can't do that, at least they can do blood work, and you can't do that at home. And you're right, you can't do your own blood work at home, but you can order your own blood work at home. And frankly, I asked for a lot more blood work than I used to get at my doctor's office all the time. And the way I do it is I just use this book from Dr. Ken Berry called Common Sense Labs. And it's a phenomenal resource. It's relatively inexpensive. You can get most of that information online for free if you really don't want to spend the extra $15 to buy Dr. Berry's book. But it'll show you what are the labs that you need on an annual basis just to check under the hood to make sure there's not major problems. Well, what happens if the results come back in a weird way? Well, I've had weird lab results over the years. I found out, the test for liver enzyme came back ridiculously high, like there was a serious liver problem. And I just kind of went, wow, I don't have any symptoms of it. Why is that all high like that? Well, then I found a video from Dr. Ben Bickman who said, look, be sure you do not work out real hard before you have a blood test because your liver enzymes are going to be skyrocketing. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I did a serious workout before I had my blood work. Okay, so I went and had it tested again. This time I didn't work out, and sure enough, that level was normal. Another time, I had a kidney creatinine level. Again, when I looked at it online, it showed up red that, this is a serious problem. I looked it up and said, wow, levels that high, that's like stage 3 kidney disease. Okay, that's a serious problem. So what do you do about it? Well, I reached out to and had an online consultation with a carnivore doctor who explained to me that, yeah, your problem was you eat meat and you're taking creatine supplements. And as a result, that level is going to be really elevated. That test is always going to be a false positive. Get this test instead, which tests the same thing, but it doesn't allow the differences that happen when you are eating a lot of meat. So I took it again using that test, came back normal. I found that when you are a carnivore, it's probably a very good idea to fast for at least 18 hours, not the standard 8, before you have it, because it just takes longer for meat to digest. And as a result, your blood glucose and your triglyceride levels may be artificially elevated if you take it early. So I really go 18 hours without eating before I have my blood work done, so I get a very good level. So what do you also get when you go to the doctor? Well, what you're supposed to get, what you think you're purchasing, is a doctor that's going to be looking after your overall health and giving you good advice. But frankly, they are not equipped to give you good health advice. None of these doctors, there's hardly any medical schools at all that teach any classes on serious nutrition. What is the optimum diet for optimum health? They don't get that test, so they're not qualified to tell me about diet. They don't really know anything about sleep and how to get good sleep. They're not exercise specialists, so they don't know how to do that. All these things are things that you have to learn on your own, and thankfully we do live in a time when there are these resources that will teach you how to eat a proper human diet, why certain foods work better than others. That's what this channel does. We talk about all these different subjects in depth, how to get really good exercise and what works. It's not complicated, it's not rocket science. But frankly, when I began this journey on trying to get healthy, trying to save my eyesight when I was 50 years old and in poor metabolic shape, and I was starting to lose my eyesight, I had to figure all this stuff out on my own, because the government kept giving me horrible advice. My doctor could not give me advice. The medical system can't give me good advice. Big Pharma, they're only interested in selling me more drugs. They're not interested in getting me healthy. Frankly, in this fight for your health, you are all alone. But we can all be alone in this together. And if you notice, when you go to the doctor nowadays, if they look at you for more than a minute, I'd be surprised. Where are they looking? They're looking at their computer. They may have their back to you the whole time. They're not even looking at you. They're just checking off a bunch of questions that the algorithm is telling them. Why? Why are they not looking at you? Why do they not care about you? Because frankly, they're employees. Almost every doctor in this country, family physician, doesn't work for themselves. They're not part of a physician's group. They're not doing doctoring anymore. They're employees, and they work for the biggest employer of family physicians in this country is United Healthcare. The next, CVS Pharmacy. A lot of private equity groups are trying to purchase doctors groups and family physicians because they are profit centers. And when these offices are owned by these big corporations, they're just basically trying to fill out all the boxes that they possibly can so they can bill insurance for as much money as they possibly can, which has nothing to do with your health. It has everything to do with their bottom line. So as a result, you're not getting healthier. They're just trying to fill in the boxes, trying to sell more drugs for Big Pharma, and trying to make more money for the insurance companies, not looking after you and your health. So you're not getting much out of it. And the system isn't designed to make you healthy. I'm sorry, it just isn't. That does not mean that, you can just ignore the medical system. Frankly, when it comes to acute issues, When you have a heart attack, when you have been burned, when you have a blood clot in your lungs, when you have fallen down, when you've been in an auto wreck, when you've been shot, they are fantastic. They are the best in the world. They do a great job for acute stuff. But as far as getting you healthy, they suck. Just the bottom line. They're horrible at it. They ain't going to get you there. That part you're going to have to figure out on your own. And that's what this channel's about. And if you like this message, if you want to hear more like it, then do me a favor. Because frankly, when you look at America right now, we are in bad metabolic shape. I mean, only about 12% of this country is metabolically healthy. 60% of this country is flat out obese. About 60% of this country is type 2 diabetic or pre-type 2 diabetic. We are spending trillions of dollars. A quarter of every dollar that we spend on medical care is going to the treatment of type 2 diabetics. And if we're going to switch it around, we got to get more people aware of how to get healthy. And the only way to get this message out using the YouTube algorithm is for people to like and subscribe, to join this channel, to share it with others. And when we do that, we're helping to spread the message. So subscribe, go to other YouTube channels of people that are really working hard and diligently to try to get people healthy. And when we share those messages, it boosts it and it helps rise above the clutter, of little kitty cat videos, and instead talk about what's really important, which is trying to get America healthier. And if you like this message, please hit like, subscribe. I try to put out 2 messages each week, and I will talk to you again soon.